Hi, Bob Beachell here with a new set of tutorial videos designed to show you how to carry out basic data analysis with Python. I'll be showing you how to get up and running with the Python installation designed specifically for data analysis. I'll show you how to carry out basic descriptive analysis of both cross-section and time series data. And there'll also be tutorials which show you how to do some more sophisticated statistical analysis, such as linear regression. In addition, I'll cover how to use the sophisticated graphing and charting features which are available. So here are the essential requirements you need to get started with data analysis using Python. Firstly, let me say you do not need to have any specific knowledge of the Python programming language or indeed any programming skills, although of course either of these would obviously be useful. The first thing you need is an installation of a Python interpreter on your computer, on your Mac or your PC. You can download the necessary installation file from the official Python site, which is python.org. We'll be using the latest version, which is Python 3. Once you've got that installed, you then need an integrated development environment, an IDE. I recommend using Pycharm's Community Edition, which is very popular. It's free, and you can simply download that from jetbrains.com. Once you've got these two things installed, you can install the 4 essential packages that are required. Firstly, the Jupyter package, which enables you to use Jupyter notebooks for all the work. Now, Jupyter Notebook is a browser-based feature which you can use to enter code and get results and draw charts and so on. It's very, very nice way of doing things, and I think it's pretty much the most popular way that people do data analysis using Python. You then need to install the 3 essential data analysis and graphing packages, numpy, pandas, and matplotlib. Now these 4 packages can all be installed very easily via Pycharm. So the first thing to do is to go to python.org, the official Python website, to download the installer for your computer. So here we are on python.org. You can see if you go to downloads here, it will probably recognize whether you're on a Mac or on a PC, a Mac in my case, and you can simply click on here. If not, you could click here for your particular platform, for example Mac here, and you want the latest Python 3 release, which is 3.12.2 at the moment. So here you could download the Mac OS 64-bit Universal 2 installer here. That's a standard Mac package. Download it, open it, run it, and just follow the instructions to download Python on your Mac. Obviously, if you're on Windows, just go to Windows. And again, here you could either click on this or click here on the latest release, 3.12.2, which appears to be here in this case rather than here. Just choose the installer. You can probably just click on this. And again, just run that installer and follow the instructions. Once you've got Python installed, go to Pycharm, go to JetBrains rather, jetbrains.com/Pycharm to download the Pycharm IDE. So if you click here on download, you can then choose, if you want, you could install Pycharm Professional, but that's not free. You don't need that. You can get by easily with the Pycharm CE Community Edition. Again, here it will have recognized almost certainly whether you're on a Mac or a PC. In my case, a Mac, so it's offering to download a DMG file. You can click here to choose whether you want the Intel version, If you're on an Intel Mac, if you're one of the new Apple Silicon M series Macs, choose that one. Again, if you're on Windows, this should give you options that are appropriate for Windows. So download the file, run it, and install, again follow the instructions to install Pycharm Community Edition on your computer. So when you open Pycharm for the first time, you'll be confronted with this welcome screen. Now from here you can customize the look of Pycharm if you want, or learn more about it. But what you mainly want to do is to go to the Projects tab here and start a new project. Now, once in fact you've actually created some projects, on the right hand side here, instead of this screen, you'll see a list of your recent projects, and you can select one to continue working with it, or you can also start a new one. In fact, once you've created projects, you probably find when you open Pycharm, it will open immediately the project you were last working on. If you wanted to get back to this screen to choose another one or create a new one, you would simply need to close that project that's opened. So a project is contained within its own folder, which will contain all the files that you create, particularly the Jupyter notebooks. It'll also contain a folder which is called a virtual environment, which contains a copy of the Python interpreter and the packages that you're going to install. So each project is self-contained in that respect. So what you need to do here is to click on New Project. Now it asks you want a pure Python project here, not this Django, which I think is for creating websites. Just pure Python. Give it a name and a location. Notice when you've installed Pycharm, it will have created almost this Pycharm projects folder by default, which you can store things in, but you don't need to. You can click on here and choose somewhere else. I tend to leave them in here. Give it a name. The default is Python project. We could call it Intro Data Analysis, perhaps something like that. Now ignore these unless you know what Git is, or we don't need that. We don't need this welcome script because we're not actually going to be running a Python script as such. We're going to be using Jupyter. Make sure the interpreter type is project VNV for virtual environment. Python version, you can actually choose if you happen to have more than one Python interpreter installed on your computer. You don't need more than one. You could choose the one from here by this drop-down list, but you can normally just leave it at the default, which it's chosen here, which is fine, and then just click Create. So here we are with our new project opened up. Now what we need to do is to install those packages that we want: Jupyter, numpy, pandas, and matplotlib. Now you can do this down here by selecting Python packages. You'll probably find it selected already. What you can see here are the currently installed packages, which at the moment is just pip. Now pip is actually the package which you use to download and install other packages. So that is supplied as standard with the Python installation. Notice here that it's indicating that this actually needs updating. You can see which packages require updating because they'll have a little indication like this. This is saying that it's currently 23.2.1, but can be updated to 24. Now, when you install your Python package, you may find that the pip is already up to date. But this is how you can update packages. I won't do that here now, but it's very easy. Just click on that and that's it. Now, also under here we have a list of the default packages which are already installed as part of Python, and in fact you'll find that numpy is already there, so you can click this to install it, and pandas too I think is already there. Let me just check. Yep, so I could click to install that. Matplotlib is not, I don't think, nor Jupyter, but we can easily search for those. So what I'm going to do first of all is install numpy. So I'll just click down to here to find numpy, and I'll install that. And I want the latest version, so I'll just click here, install, which is 126.4. And as you can see, it's installing that package. So that's now appearing under my list of install packages. So now I can return to here and install pandas. There we go, let's install that. Again, let's install the latest version, 2.2.1. Which is done. Now I can search for more packages here, so I'm going to search here for matplotlib. Which is there. So I'll install that. The latest version, 3.8.3. So it's installing that. So on my list of install packages now, I should have those three. It's still just showing that one because I've got this selected. If I clear that, you'll see installed. It's installed any other packages it also requires. They're called dependencies. It installs those as well. So what we just need finally, I think, is Jupyter. It's spelled with a Y. There we go, Jupyter. I can install that. The latest version. And that will also install any other packages it needs, any dependencies as they're called. So here that's installing that. I think there's quite a few dependencies there, which is why it's taking a little while to install. Once that's installed, we've got all the essential packages that we need. Any other packages that we require for more specialist statistical analysis, I'm going to be using one called stats models. Later on, we can install, as you can see easily here, using within Pycharm. Okay, so that seems to be now installed. So I've got all the ones that I need. So everything now should be installed. Let's just have a look through. We should have, as you can see, it's installed a lot of other ones, dependencies. We should have, and some of them need updating, which you could update if you want. So we should have, it's installed the IPython kernel, which is used by Jupyter. We've got Jupyter here. We've got matplotlib. We've got numpy. We've got pandas. Yeah, those are the ones that we need, plus any other packages that they rely upon. So everything should be now set up to start doing some data analysis. So all we need to do now to start the Jupyter notebook is to bring up the terminal here. So click on this. If you're still in packages, click on this here, and you can see you get a terminal prompt, which is and you're in the folder that where you've stored the project. Now, before you actually type the command, you do need to make sure, I found this, that I needed to make sure that there was at least one file in that folder. Otherwise it didn't seem to bring up what's called the Jupyter dashboard correctly. In future, because there'll be files in there, you'll have no problem. But the first time, you do need to make sure that there's at least one file in there. So what I've done here, as you can see here, is the file structure, folder structure I should say. I've included this file here, this little CSV file, which has got some data in that I'm going to be using for the tutorials. So if just include a little data file in there, for example, the data you're planning to work on, make sure that's in there so that when you run Jupyter Notebook on this new project, it opens up the dashboard correctly. In future, there'll be no problem. So checking that you've got that, you just need to type here now Jupyter Notebook, like that, and enter it. It starts the server. It opens up the dashboard, as it's called, and as you can see, it opens up. It's because it's essentially running its own server, a Jupyter server. This is why it says local host, and that's why it opens up in a web browser. And there you have that file that I put in. As I say, the first time I tried this and there was no actual file in there, it didn't work properly. So just make sure the very first time you start the project, the new project, that you have a file in there. Now, in order to create a notebook which we can use for our data analysis using this this data file, for example, and you just need to go to New here and click Notebook, and that creates a new notebook, which is currently called Untitled. We can change that in a moment, and the extension for notebooks is IPYNB. So I can double click this to open it, and it opens up in another separate tab, and it asks you what kernel you want to use. It's the IPY kernel, and that will probably be the only one you've got anyway, so just click Select, and we have our notebook opened. And here the notebook consists of these various cells into which we can write code to do calculations or to draw charts, but you can also enter text using markdown syntax, and you can enter equations using LaTeX syntax. So in other words, you can actually create a document here, an interactive document which contains not just your code and your analysis, but any text that you want to put around that. So in effect, you can write an article or a document here which contains the text as well as the actual results, and I'll be showing you how to do that. Now, one thing before we finish here, if you want to change the title, you can simply click up here and change the title. I'll just call this first one, but obviously you give it a title appropriate to the analysis you're doing. I'll click Rename. That renames it, so that in the here in the dashboard you'll see if I reload this, because it's a web page, it should now it changes automatically after a few seconds, but you could have clicked reload here, and if you then once you've finished doing any analysis, you can click on here to save the file, save the notebook, although I think it actually saves things automatically, so you probably don't need to worry, but obviously just to be safe, save it. If you then close down the tab And if you finished altogether, close down the home page, the dashboard here. And then if we go back to the Pycharm, here back into the terminal window here, to close down the server, you simply type Control-C. It asks you, do you want to shut down this Jupyter server? Type yes and enter. You've got to do it in a certain length of time, or you only get 5 seconds. I'll do it very quickly this time. So yes, and there, that's closed it down. You're back to the terminal prompt. And finally, if you want to obviously close down Pycharm, just close it as normal, as a Mac app in this case. So I just use Command Q. It asks you to confirm, and there we go. And so that's how you set up a working installation of Python for data analysis using Jupyter notebooks.